Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of Howling Fury, the calm before the storm. Today we'll be talking about possible leaked heroes, comeback in HOTS, and our prescription for the Witch Doctor. Also with us tonight we have a special guest, Keenan, aka Lemony.
This one, we're gonna talk about all this data mining, what it is, what heroes people came up with, and see what we can expect out of this amazing game. So I'm sure that everybody saw those little diamond-shaped things on the character select screen, right? It's all over the place, and people are wondering what it's for. Well, guys, definitely it's not gonna stay empty. And there are these dedicated people out there called data miners. They are the guys that would pull the patch that is coming out to players from beta and disassemble it using some sort of very interesting and dedicated computer software to find strings, bits of graphics. What else? Some like
videos? I think there were some voice strings, some audio strings.
Audio files, potential audio strings, and piece it together in this conspiracy theory type of thing that we can deduce which heroes Blizzard is thinking of putting in the game, but they're not ready yet. So today we found this list online, and the link will be shared in the video description on YouTube or on Twitch TV. Basically, it's a whole bunch of different heroes. Some of them are already confirmed and are in the game, like Sylvanas is one. The others are coming up. So we're going to talk about some of the ones we liked, because honestly the list is too long, and if we were to go through every single one, that would spend ages. To make it more interesting, here at the Howling Fury we picked our favorite heroes, and we can just talk about them. So which one do we want to start with?
We can start with Manx. Mostly because we have no idea what he's going to be doing.
Sure.
Because in the actual story, he actually does nothing. I don't even think he's like held a weapon in his entire life.
He's not even in the game.
Yeah.
He's mostly propaganda and like the showpiece for the human militia. I forgot what their
the
actual
StarCraft
title is.
The
Liberation thing?
Yeah, the
Confederacy. That's a good one. So, let's theorize. What could he be doing? Well, what's the purpose of the hair?
I
think that...
Oh, do you
sorry,
want
go
to
ahead.
Yeah,
I think that he's going to be, because of his appearance in the game, as just like that guy in the little box in the bottom who told you what to do. I think he's going to be one of those floating around attacking people instead of an actual model.
So you think he will actually have an attack?
But that's just my theory.
And like an actual physical...
Oh, I don't know. Probably just like debuffs or something.
Like all abilities
He'll DDoS you.
DDoS. The ultimate DDoS here. So what role would he be filling in? Is it an assassin, potentially?
I think he'd be a specialist. Like,
Specialist.
if anything, I think he'd be able to summon up his army. Like, kind of like he'd summon up groups of units and like send them to war.
like rally together his troops?
Yeah, and they just spawn out of nowhere. And he could kind of be in battle, maybe like Abathur, to sit back.
He still needs
Like
a physical body, because there
Yell
should be
on
a
a
way of
megaphone.
killing him.
Yeah.
That's an interesting theory, because he
Well,
does
wait.
have his like covert ops groups. Like I believe he started the Ghosts and like their whole like group. I think that like Nova is under his.
Yep, she was originally at least.
Mhm.
Well, personally,
So-
I think he will have some sort of a mind control thing. That would be fun, taking control of the enemy unit and then doing something with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can march him back into your own troops to kill him, or like use him to attack his allies temporarily for, I don't know, like 3-5 seconds, just enough so you can use his ultimate ability on his own team.
Mhm.
Could be interesting.
He's
Otherwise, I think he'd probably just be in a vehicle going around, like, well, I guess he can't be in the siege tank, but maybe like a little battle cruiser or something.
A little one?
Just a little one.
Mini battle cruiser.
tiny battlefield.
Smaller than
I
the
know.
tank in Noah. Toy version. Alright, so that was Aaron's favorite, I believe. Manx?
Yep.
Yeah. We picked another few. Why wouldn't you tell our viewers about your favorite one, Nathan?
Alright. I'm actually excited for the Butcher. I believe there was already some 3D art posted for him as well, and people were speculating whether or not he'll be a skin for Stitches because they have very similar kits already, and they might just overlap a lot, but I think he could be a really interesting hero to bring out. on his own. He has similar abilities to Stitches, but I think they could play around with the fire and things like that. Like, I remember a lot of people when they first started Diablo, he was the first boss you faced in both Diablo 1 and Diablo 3, and in both cases he was just way too much, more than you expected when you were fighting him.
Yeah, Bloodline.
So role-wise, do you think he would be an assassin then? Or tank?
I would hope he fits the assassin role, just because we already have the tank role in Stitches, and they already play very similarly. To have a giant, beefy butcher that runs up and starts cleaving you in half with an axe really quickly would be the greatest thing ever.
But he's so big, he can't really move around that quickly.
No, he moves fast.
That's what they said in
Remember
Diablo 1.
Oh,
In Diablo 1,
He, like,
by
chases
far the worst moment for
You
many
need to give
starting
him
gamers.
an alt where he puts a door down and you have to close the door as fast as you can, otherwise he'll kill you.
He can spawn from your opponent's base. How about that? From one of the gates. As you come into a gate, that's like where he spawns from.
He just runs at you.
Yeah. That would give people the creeps, I
Yep.
think.
Yeah.
Or you could summon that little room.
They need to give that horror feel to one of the heroes.
Just throws the bodies
Summon
at
the
you.
little room. Sucks you right into it. Like a parallel part of the map or something. Right?
Yeah.
It's ultimate.
That could be fun.
Interesting.
Well, definitely. I mean, yeah, Butcher would be fun here, and I think currently the game lacks Diablo and StarCraft heroes, so
Yeah.
addition like
Yeah.
this would be welcome, for sure.
Yeah, they're usually the ones that we gravitate to right away, because we don't really have too much from that universe, and what we have is, like, we have a lot of specialists in both the universes.
Well, of warriors, Tyrell, Diablo, everybody's a warrior, essentially. And that's one. Well, yeah, but Butcher, I'd be definitely down for it. The other hero that we're gonna talk about today, and this one, guys, this is a pretty much done deal, in my opinion, and probably that's why I picked him. It's the Kalthas Sunstrider. So this dude was data mined a long time ago, and he was data mined along with Sylvanas and Chen. Both of those heroes are currently in the game, and rumor has it on the internet, the rumor mill, that he is the next one to go. So him specifically, I think it's going to be very interesting here. He has this whole magic thing around him, and many people remember him from the Outland in the World of Warcraft. We have our own funny theories that the guys will tell you about in just a little bit. Could be some fun abilities with him dropping stuff. So let's talk about him a little bit. So definitely, in my opinion at least, I think he will be an assassin. He just has to be. Having that much magic and being a warrior.
That's true. I think if he's anything like the World of Warcraft raid, he's going to be able to buff allies. He also has 4 minions that he might be able to summon. I think that would make him more like a specialist, though.
Well, only for the ultimate.
To summon those 4 people?
Because they are fairly strong. At least they were in WoW.
Well, WoW, yeah. They were his like protectors or guardians. Though they probably don't always go along with them. They might just be like in that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
He does have a phoenix though, which would be interesting if he got that as a mount or a spell.
If you dropped it once in a while as a mount for the opponent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Get the phoenix. But on the other hand, I know Keenan has experience in other MOBA games, and that's actually very valuable and transferable to Heroes of the Storm. So I think you know which hero I'm hinting at from the D game.
Invoker, yeah.
And that hero, can you maybe tell our viewers a little bit about that hero, how he plays in Dota, and oh my god, I said the curse word, and how how he can be playing in Heroes of the Storm as they try to follow the suit there.
Oh, well, definitely Invoker is probably the hardest hero to play in the D-word game. Just because he has a multitude of spells and you have to change them on the go as you're playing. Like, I think it's a total of 15 different spells, something like that, and you have to know basically the inputs to change the spell every second and the cooldowns between them. But I don't know if that'd be ready for HOTS at all, because HOTS seems like such a more casual pleasant game. Not in a bad way, it's just, I don't know, it's more relaxed.
It's like having 15 abilities and very high skill cap.
Yeah. And
exactly.
that's a lot of information to throw at a person. And I think the specialists do kind of fit into that role where they can be a lot more complex, but I have no idea how they give 15 skills to him, or just combining all his skills together would be...
Well, maybe they cherry pick the archetypes of particular skills.
Based on abilities?
Yeah, so
every level?
I'm not exactly sure which abilities he's got in the D game, but say you pick like 3 of them and give them to Kalsas as just button abilities. They could be skill shots to make him still kind of relatively harder to play.
That could be something like every tier you'd get a new ability to pick, but then I guess you'd only start with one, and then you have to build up all four.
And then it could replace your existing one.
I think the Lost Vikings have a similar way of being built where you can get active skills for them as you go up in their little increments of 1, 4, 7, and 10. You can pick new active skills, and they have passives otherwise. They don't have any active skills other than that. So it could be something like that if they decide to go that route.
Yeah. But in any case, even if he is an assassin or a support or a specialist, I think he's gonna follow this generic, the arc pattern of Heroes of the Storm, where he's gonna have one nuke and one disable / slow / something like this. And then something that's really special, maybe make him invisible for a few seconds or something like that. So definitely a cool hero to look forward to. Probably he's gonna have one of the best skins, in my opinion. And he would probably be the hero that they're gonna add next. So here it is, guys. You heard it here first. Next hero gonna be Kalsa's Sunstrider. Why not? So I guess we're running out of time for this segment. I'm just gonna briefly go over the heroes that we also picked, and they didn't seem that exciting to us for a number of different reasons. And we can talk about them as a group, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So for myself, this was Rexar, the Orc Hunter dude. For Aaron, which one were you not excited about?
That's Valerian Manx.
Oh, the other Manx.
The other Manx.
He's just the worst version of Arcturus.
It's like Arcturus without doing anything.
And
Just
the first one wasn't doing much to begin with.
like, he's just gonna sit there and pay people to do his bidding or something.
Yeah, and Nathan picked Leoric. Why don't you like him?
I just think out of the warriors that we have so far in Diablo, I think adding more Diablo warriors is just not the way to go. I feel like they should have gone for something else beforehand. And I do like Leoric's style, but I feel like he would play very slow. And I think a lot of people would compare him to the Skeleton King in Dota. And he also doesn't really have too many active abilities and promotes a very passive playstyle, which I don't think really
one
fits
ability
in
in total.
Yeah, which really doesn't fit in with the HOTS gameplay, at least how it is right now.
The Resurrection would
was
be kind of
thinking,
fun.
Do you think he's gonna actually be similar to those other heroes in the other games, or do you think they're gonna purposely make him completely different?
I hope they do. I hope they take the kit from the Diablo 3 fight where he can spin around and summon minions, but I'm already up to my ears with minions spawned in lanes. I don't need any more.
Yeah, so far we have Asmodan, Witch Doctor to a degree, Zagar, who else? Who else spawns minions?
Kerrigan spawns.
Kerrigan does. Lost Vikings, they are all minions. Yeah, definitely. No more skeletons, Blizzard. Just plus, on the other thing, you guys probably know about this ongoing struggle that Blizzard has in, I think it's China, where they have some interesting rules about portraying bones in video games.
Yeah.
That they can't. And having Skeleton King without bones, what are you gonna dress him in, jeans and t-shirt or something?
I wonder what they do in Diablo right now for the China.
That's a good question. I'm not quite sure.
They could probably just make him like a zombie, or if anything, give him flesh, but make him all green or something like that.
Yeah.
Or just like a ghost.
They might just armor him up throughout the whole thing too.
That too. That'd be pretty cool, actually.
Oh yeah.
Just full plate armor.
Yeah, I'd be definitely down for that.
An animated armor.
Right. Well, enough of the speculations and the tinfoil hats. Luckily, we don't have them yet, but we will as time goes by. So, homework, everybody make a tinfoil hat. Why not? We're gonna transition into something that's more out of the realm of realistic. The hero that's currently in Dota, we're gonna try this thing on the show where we're gonna go into more details about one particular hero, especially a specialist. Take it as you will. And for today's episode, we are going to talk about Nazeebo. Perfect. So, without further ado, Aaron Fox is our resident Nazeebo specialist, mainly because he played so many games on it, but the other guys also have experience playing either for or against Nazeebo. So I'm sure everybody's going to have something to say about that. So here is a list of all the abilities that he's got. We're going to quickly go through them. The Corpse Spiders. This is a 60 mana cost, area of effect, and a 10-second cooldown, very fast one. Deals 40 damage and creates 3 corpse spiders that deal 10 damage. They last for 4 seconds. So the zombie wall is his second ability, and after a short delay he creates a ring of zombies. He can trap both allies and enemies in it, and they deal a little bit 18 damage for 3 seconds. And his third ability is Plague of Toads. Create 5 toads that deal 30 damage. The trait that we were discussing earlier is the Voodoo Ritual. So his basic attacks deal damage over time. Killed enemies restore health and mana. And his 2 ultimates, or heroic abilities rather, would be Ravenous Spirit, channeled spell that creates a spirit dealing area damage, and Gargantuan. Spawns a Gargantuan to fight for you. This thing also has an active stun ability, as far as I can remember. Does Ravenous Spirit have any active ability?
What do you mean by active?
The whole ability is active. I think you can just cancel it once it's already used.
Right, because Gargantuan can actually stun on demand, which is kind of nice.
But you can't control the Gargantuan, which is...
I don't think it's stun. I think it's just a slow and large damage.
You might be right. Does it say here? Deal 30 damage to nearby enemies when summoned. Attacks for 100 damage. Can be ordered to stomp, dealing 30 damage. Oh, he just deals damage. It's not even slow. 20 seconds. Alright, so level 1 abilities. The first one I want to bring up to our viewers' attention is the Blood Ritual trait that he's got. So this thing increases health and mana granted by Voodoo Ritual by 100%. The second one is a Death Ritual. It permanently gains 5 health and 3 mana when a minion dies under Voodoo Ritual. The third one that I'm gonna talk about is Demolitionist. Basic attacks against structures destroy 1 ammo and deal an additional 10% damage. And the last one in the tier 1 is Bribe. Kill minions to bribe a mercenary. So out of the whole tier 1, which abilities would you guys pick? Let's start with Keenan.
Probably go for Gathering Power, just because it seems to scale very well, and you can go use it throughout the game, right?
Yeah, the permanent addition of 3 health.
Oh, sorry, not Gathering Power.
Death Ritual.
Yeah.
Aaron?
Yeah, same one. I always go with that one.
And he plays a lot of Witch Doctor. Please play it. Nathan?
I honestly think that Death Ritual just outshines the other 3. I think there is a place where you might use Bribe and Demolitionist, but I feel like almost anyone else who can get them would be way better off with them, and you would rather get Death Ritual on Nazeebo.
Fair enough. Well, personally, I would go for Blood Ritual first because, you know, I have to be different. And I don't have enough experience playing Witch Doctor, so clearly. But I think that this boost of 100% increase of health and mana early on will be much more beneficial than a slow stacking if you're going for this like early kills and early domination build. And maybe this will be enough to push a few towers early in the game when opponents cannot really do anything to you. So that's my reason
in the game
behind
a lot longer.
Yeah, but for you viewers out there, just go with what these guys said. It's 3 versus 1, and they have a bit more experience.
I also believe his passive already gives you health and mana regen, and this just doubles the amount. So it's not like he doesn't have the regen already to stay in lane.
That's a
But
very
if you
good
want
point.
extra regen.
Yeah, just double the region. So let's move into tier 2. So spider cluster creates 3 more spiders. So in total you're gonna have 6. Effectively doubling the number of spiders you get. Alright, so the second ability is Gathering Power. Passively grant 5% ability power. Each hero takedown increases this bonus by 2% to a maximum of 15. If you die, it's reset back to 5. So next ability is Envenom. This is activated to poison an enemy, dealing 180 damage over 5 seconds. And the last ability he's got here is Promote. Activate to give targeted 100% health extra and 100% extra damage for 15 seconds. And it can be used twice, so it has 2 charges. So out of this tier, what's your pick, Keenan?
Definitely Gathering Power, but I do have a shout out for Envenom just because I really like it. I've used it on other heroes, and I think it's probably one of the stronger multi-hero abilities in the game. But it really depends what playstyle you're going to go for.
Right, Aaron.
If I was going with Gargantuan, I would get Envenom, but with the other alt, I would get Gathering Power.
Fair enough. Nathan?
I would still say Spider Clusters. I really like the ability. Having more things hitting the target, you can't go wrong with that.
And you know, I will concur with Nathan on this one. I always, out of those 4 games that I played as Nazeebo, I always picked Spider Cluster. Just because, well, first I was under the impression that it does create additional bodies on the field. But also having more things attacking minions in the lane, it kind of distributes damage better. And for pushing build, at least, I would definitely go with the Spider Cluster. But yeah, take it for what it is. The best way of learning this game is trying different things. So try Gathering Power, try Spider Cluster, and make up your mind, guys. So we're gonna move into the next tier, and this one you get at level 7. This one has 5 abilities. The first one is Jitbin. Increases the explosion area of plague toads and the duration of your zombie wall and corpse spiders by 25%, so it basically works on all of your active abilities. Alright, the next one is Mercenary Lord. Siege and Bruiser mercenaries near your hero deal 50% more damage. The first ability he's got, Call Down Mule. So this thing is straight from StarCraft universe.
Yeah, this is one of those general talents as well, along with the Mercenary Lord.
So multiple heroes have this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So activate to call down a mule that repairs structures, one at a time, near target point for 40 seconds, healing for 100 health every 1 second. Grants 1 ammo every 3 seconds. And the last one in this tier is the Clairvoyance. Activate to reveal an area for 10 seconds. Enemies in the area are revealed for 4 seconds. Alright, so I think I know the answer to this, but at this tier, what's your pick?
Given.
Go, Keenan.
Yeah, Jidbin. Or
Yeah.
is it Jidbin or Gidbin?
Keenan, Jidbin.
Either way,
Jitbin.
If we have somebody in the chat, they can tell us. If not, we'll do some googling after this. So this one, let's talk about this one. It's a 90-second cooldown heroic ability.
So it's a very strong ability. What you want to do is you want to try to stay away from the team fight, but get this into the team fight. So what you do is like you'd go around a corner or a bush, and you'd summon it, and you run it into a fight.
So the
The only-
60 damage is this AoE?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
hits
So-
nearby targets.
It
Quite a
doesn't say
large
here.
area, yeah.
I thought it's just single target and Gargantuan does 100. You know?
Oh no, it hits. They kind of nerfed it. I think it did more before.
Yeah, it used to do more. I think they did nerf it.
So in
So
the
it's a bit
current
weaker.
version of the game, is this worth picking over Gargantuan?
It depends, because if you get stunned, if there's anyone that can stun on the other team, I usually go with Gargantuan because Gargantuan's stronger, it has that AoE that seems to hit pretty hard. But Ravenous Spirit is still good if they have a lot of squishy targets and no stuns, or very few stuns, you can go with the Ravenous Spirit.
Just for the AoE portion of this.
Yeah.
I think this was one of the heroes that had the best versions of two alts. Like, they're both very good and very situational. And it makes it interesting because you can go for the Ravenous Spirit and play very risky and get a lot of kills, or you can go with the Gargantuan and just have a very, very solid damage dealing semi-tank
Semi-tank
in
thing.
the fight.
Cool. So 2 abilities to pick from. Which one would you go with, Keenan?
Yeah, I think it's very specific to the game. It depends on their lineup, and like Aaron was saying, but they both seem almost as powerful as each other. But I feel like Ravenous Spirit gives you more reward for your risk, just because. Does it actually do more damage than the Gargantuan?
I think it does.
Damage anymore.
Depends how many
Yeah,
target it
but
hits.
then
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
depends
but
how
then it
skilled
puts
you
you
are.
out in the open as well, right? So it's really, if you can get it off, Ravenous Spirit would probably be the better way to go, or Gargantuan would be the safer way to go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Aaron.
I'm leaning like most of the games I've played in so far. I've not taken a risk and just gone with Gargantuan because I noticed people are getting smarter at stopping Ravenous Spirit. So yeah, most likely Gargantuan.
I see you, Nathan.
I actually really like the Gargantuan, mostly because it kills me most of the time, and then I get frustrated at it. But it used to be really bad, but the damage buffs to it made it really viable. You're not going to just sit there and try and kill it in a 1v1 fight. It's going to do way too much to you.
Right. Well, personally, I'm gonna side with Keenan and pick Ravenous Spirit, mainly because you can control it. And this gives you a little bit extra flexibility, so you can actually go on that Lily in the backline with it, if you really want to zone her out or pressure her to do some healing to herself. But yeah, I agree. If you get interrupted or they find you or something like that, that's probably not gonna end up well for you, given that you have to channel for this thing to be active. So, if you guys are just starting with Nazeebo, probably go with Gargantuan and play it safe for the first while, but do experiment with the other heroic ability. They're both great. Amazing stuff. So we're gonna move into the next tier. Tier 5, you get it at level 13, and has 4 abilities. The first one is the Dead Rush. So this one affects your zombies. Upon expiring, up to 5 remaining zombies uproot and attack nearby enemies for 3 seconds. So the
Nice
next
flavor.
one is the Toads of Hugeness. Toad damage is increased by 20% each time they hop. So Sprint, well, this one is self-explanatory. You gain 75%
Yeah.
movement speed for 3 seconds. So the fourth ability in this tier is the Ice Block. Activate to place yourself in stasis and gain invulnerability for 3 seconds. So out of these 4 abilities, Keenan, what's your pick?
From what Aaron was talking about with Toads of Hugeness, if it does do that much damage and push that fast, that's really what you want. If you're going to push your build with Nazeebo, I guess. If you're actually ganking or just trying to get away from a fight, Sprint could be okay. I guess you'd have to see how the game's going.
Mm-hmm. Aaron, what about you?
So it's definitely situational. If you find yourself dying a lot, and this is like level 13, you'll be able to tell. I would go with Sprint, but if you're not having anyone target you, I would definitely go with the Toads, because that's amazing in any situation.
Any given situation. Nathan?
I think against certain heroes, I like Ice Block against heroes that have a lot of bursts like Nova and the like, because you can Ice Block and they miss their combo and then you're good. Sprint, really good for just rezoning and putting yourself in a better position, and Total Fugitive is just a great idea for a spell, so
Yeah. I kind of have
I will
the
take
same
any
feeling.
3.
And, you know, I play a lot of Nova, and seeing somebody Ice Block out of my ultimate, it's just heart-wracking. So, if you can hit it precisely enough, Ice Block is a strong choice. Personally, I would, like for safe play, I would pick Toes of Hugeness and practice getting that range on the pushing build specifically. At level 13, it's a lot about pushing, I feel, and giving you this extra thing where you can do a solo lane and just split push and play a little bit of a rat game could be very strong. So we have 2 tiers to go. Tier 6, level 16. We have 4 abilities again. The first one is a specialized toxin. This increases your damage against heroes, increases the damage dealt to heroes from Voodoo Ritual by 100%. The next one is Leaping Spiders. Corpse spiders leap at their targets and deal 25% more damage. The next one is Infested Toads. Toads explode into corpse spiders upon death. So yet more spiders. And the last one, but not least, is Stone Skin. Activate to gain 30% of your maximum health as shields for 5 seconds. So 4 abilities. What's your pick, Keenan?
I'd probably go with... Well, the way you seem to play Witch Doctors, are you just spamming your skills as much as possible? Aaron?
Oh yeah. You're just like you should always have your spells on cooldown, except the wall. You want to time that properly.
Oh yeah, then it seems like the best idea would be specialized stocks, and because it seems to synergize with a lot of your other skills in the earlier tiers.
Yeah.
So that would be my pick.
Aaron?
Yeah, I haven't gone for the other spells. I've only gone with specialized toxin. It helps with your damage done.
2 for 2. Nathan?
I'm again going with the spider one. I really like the spider build.
Spider build. So leaping spiders for you?
Leaping spiders.
Well, personally, I like the infested toads. Kind of gives you a variety. You're gonna use toads a lot. That's my thinking. And when the toads and the spiders begin, I think it's a nice extension. Because you have what, 5 toads? So out of those, you're gonna get extra 5 spiders. If that's the way it works, I hope. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I have never used it. So.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, I think it's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can try it out later. Oh, guys in the chat can try it out and let us know. Or YouTube. Leave a comment, tell us what this thing actually does and whether you would agree
How
or
wrong
disagree.
we are.
Yeah, how wrong we are. The Nazeebo specialist. So, we are up for our last tier, tier 7. This thing has 4 abilities, and 2 of them influence your heroic ability. So we're going to talk about those first, and then we'll talk about the 2 more generic ones. So the first one, it's Humanoid. Gargantuan lasts until killed instead of timing out, and deals 100% more damage against non-heroic targets. Alright, so the next one is also interesting. This one is Annihilating Spirit. Increases the range of Ravenous Spirit by 50% and movement speed by 30%. Alright, so next one is Fury of the Storm. So every 5 seconds, your next basic attack will deal an additional 20 damage to the target and 20 damage to all nearby minions and mercenaries. And the last one is Bolt of the Storm. Activate to teleport to a nearby location. So 4 abilities. Your favorite pick, Keenan?
I usually just go with whatever buffs your ultimate, so in this case, whichever you decide to get, either the Gargantuan or the Ravenous Spirit. So I would pick Humongoid or Annihilating Spirit, but like I said, if you didn't get Sprint before, I would go with Bolt of the Storm now.
Alright, Aaron?
So if I had trouble surviving, I would also get Bolt of the Storm. And yeah, it depends on which alt. You can't pick, I don't think I'd ever get Fury of the Storm, so it would have to be one of the alts.
Nathan?
Yeah, I think for most games I would go with Gargantuan, so it would have to be the Gargantuan choice. I think if you pick the Gargantuan, you don't really need the Blink, and you don't really have any need for the Chain Lightning attack, because the Gargantuan is meant to kill things with his second version of the ult, the upgraded version. Though if you're going with the Ravenous Spirit, you have the choice between Blink and the upgraded ult. So if the team likes to disengage from fights, you kind of want to go with the faster ult, so you can chase down people. And if you have a hard time getting into a fight or getting away from someone who's hunting you down, then you'd want to go with Blink.
Perfect. Well, me personally, I would pick Fury of the Storm, just to give you this extra clearing power. And lane pushing, that seems to be the build I favorite most. So yeah, exciting stuff. These builds that everybody came up with, we're basically going to post them under our video on YouTube. And there will be Nathan's build, Aaron's build, Keenan's build, and mine. We'll go back through the video and see which abilities you picked and create these kind of Howling Fury builds. And you guys can see them later, laugh at us, or try them out, and find the really powerful one. If you do, we want 20% of your gold that you win. Technically, you learned from this video. And yeah, that's really what it comes down to. Alright, so that's Nazeebo. Do we want to talk about anything else Nazeebo related? Skins. They're kind of cool. I think everybody saw them.
Yep.
I think Aaron
You
has
have to
them
show
all.
off the master skin.
The master skin. Here is the master skin and 3 color variations of it.
Yeah, the little interesting note about the Master Skin, if you look at his offhand, it is the Black Soulstone from Diablo Rebirth Souls.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, wow.
Well, this is my personal favorite. The clown. Just because seeing that is demoralizing and scary enough, especially in enemy's jungle.
Yeah. I really wish they made the Gargantuan a giant clown Gargantuan for that.
Oh, that would be
Oh, that
awesome.
And the other could have also been like a freaky clown too, the like spirit clown.
Or just a big balloon that travels there and kills everybody inside. You know, a homicidal balloon. There. How about that? Alright, so Nazeebo. Cool character. Play him, love him. Leave the comment of how you would build your own. And we spent enough time on this, so we're gonna move into our next topic today, as soon as my game closes. We're gonna just do this quickly. Here we go. So, our last topic of the day was suggested by Keenan, and it has to do with maps and comebacks and all the exciting stuff around it. So Keenan, why wouldn't you tell us a little bit more about this particular topic, and then we can elaborate with ideas and stuff.
Well, what I was thinking, I was talking to Aaron about this earlier, about there are certain maps that it seems like they're more forgiving, say if you missed out on certain objectives of the map, and some that are just not forgiving at all. For instance, the pirate ship, if you don't get the cannonballs for that, you're going to lose the game. And we've seen this time and time again. But I was wondering how many maps would you guys say that there are. It is possible to make a comeback even if you miss out on the objectives, but your playstyle is very tight. And how many maps there are that you definitely cannot make a comeback unless you get every objective all the time.
I think the pirate map is like that, because you can come back, but if you get them to turn in coins, you're pretty much screwed and you can't stop that. Unless you stop them turning in, but I mean, if you lose a fight, you can't stop them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna say Dragon Shire. You can come back easily from that one. Mainly because you can fight the Dragon Knight on your base with the help of your core and towers. Or if the opponent is not experienced enough, they would rush forward with just the Dragon Knight and you can just pick it off alone with the team. So even if you don't do objectives, you still have a good chance of coming back.
Mm-hmm. I actually really like the Dragonshire map too, because as long as you're playing a better game than them, even if you're not going for objectives, you still own map control in that case, and you have better lane presence. So you're either gonna own mid, top, or bottom, one of the lanes, and that's gonna deny them the dragon for a bit. And even if they do get it, usually your team fight will be better in those cases, or you can kind of play the objectives differently, all rushing bottom and not letting them get dragon because of that.
On the other hand, there are maps that you absolutely have to do objectives. If you don't, that's going to be horrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Sky Temple comes into mind. That's one of the
Yeah.
maps. That's
I think Haunted Mines is also
Haunted
a
Mines for
huge,
sure,
yeah.
Yeah. What about the one
Blackheart's
with Tribute, the Cursed Hollow?
Hollow. I actually think Chris Hall is one of the most forgiving maps in terms of just skipping the objective completely. It allows you to get EXP in the lanes, and because the map's so big, it takes the other team a while to move out and in to get the shrine. And if they're trying to set up to stop you from getting it, they're wasting a lot of time there too. So you can actually play different strategies where you don't go for the first two, and then you fight for the third one because you're level 10 and they're level 8 or 9, because they didn't get EXP in lanes.
Yeah, and sometimes you can get the curse, and it's not even, your lane's not even pushed, so you can't even get that far with it.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
Tomb of the Spider Queen also is. I don't think it's that hard to defend from. I'd say it's a good beginner map because of that, because it's very general. Like you're just going to get extra mobs in your lane, right? Where you're not going to get a very strong boss character that spawns or anything like that. So I think that one's not as hard to come back from.
Tomb of the Spider Queen is also a very small map. So I think small maps genuinely favor objectives a bit more than the gigantic ones. Just because of the distance you need to travel. And specifically Tomb of the Spider Queen, and we had the last episode on this one, it's super critical to get early objectives at least. After that you can probably be a little bit lax about it, but still, it's...
I don't think the objectives help you win the game, so it's easy. Those are easy maps to come back on because the objectives, they're strong early game because they let you get EXP advantages, but the later into the game you go, they're not as effective, and the boss becomes more of a problem than the actual Spider Queens themselves.
Yeah,
but the Spider Queens don't even do that much damage, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
They're fairly hard to stop early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's solo, or 1 or 2 people can take out Spider Queen.
Okay. The other point to this topic is, though, the desire of people to come back. Like, how would you say mentally, you're losing, and you need to mount to come back. This takes a bit of an effort, especially if you're playing with people that you don't know. So, Keenan, you play as a MOBAs. Is it different comebacks compared to Heroes of the Storm? Is it
for
easier,
sure. This
harder?
is another topic I kind of wanted to tack onto this that I've noticed is the community is definitely a lot less notoriously toxic than other MOBA games, especially Dota or League of Legends. Actually, I've noticed in most of the games I play, most people don't really even talk to each other unless it's just to say get an objective. But there's very little off-topic conversation, especially because you can't talk to the other team either. So yeah, it seems like there's a lot of teamwork involved, and a lot of people don't really abandon. I've noticed a couple who have, but it doesn't seem as common as in other games for sure. Do you guys want to expand on that?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people in this game just try and stick together, and there's only a few people who get very toxic and will push on their own or separately, and most of those cases you just ask them to stick with you, and they will. Most people don't want to drag the game on longer because these games can end fairly quickly, and if they feel like they're losing, they'll just rush with you guys, and you will try your best to win.
Yeah, I had the same experience that people here are better at mounting comebacks. They don't give up that easily for some reason, and Heroes of the Storm is a lot more forgiving for people trying to mount a comeback than other MOBAs. There is really little chance to snowball out of control. This is possible when you're behind by 5 levels. That's gonna be a tough
map
one.
control.
Yeah, but still, you can sneak into their base and backdoor it or something, and that's gonna work. We've done it before, right? You know exactly the game I'm talking about. So that's that. But community-wise, definitely, guys, stick with your teams and try to come back. I hope Blizzard keeps it this way, because this makes a game not over until it's actually over. And I think one of the game designers posted this on Twitter somewhere in response to a question about the map tuning and stuff like that. That just keep on fighting, until your core is still alive, even if it's 1% and no shield.
I've had some
turnarounds.
really close games where it's been like 3 to like 2% between the two of us, and we're just yelling at someone to like rush in and kill it.
Yeah.
This could be an interesting challenge to our viewers. So at any point, if you see this video, can be a year from now, if you have a recording of a game where you came back from the brink of defeat and snatched that victory, do send it to us. We'd like to showcase those moments and maybe cast it and explain how you did it. Because those things, that's what makes the game super excited. You almost lost and you come back. This is amazing. Amazing stuff. Do you guys have anything to add to this topic? Because we are running really long today.
Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to add one extra thing to the last stuff. Like, it's every game. I'm always telling Aaron, like, I don't want to say we're winning yet, because even if it's like super close, because like
Yeah.
There's so many times
Swings.
where the other team has made a comeback. Like, you have to be at 100% all the time with this game, where with other games, you can have one person who gets really far ahead, like you were saying, and it just snowballs out of control. But with this, you really have to be doing something all the time.
Yeah, your whole team has to be on top of everything they're doing, because one person gets picked off, your whole team gets picked off by the end of it.
That's it. There is no way to come back. So stick with your teams, mount comebacks, do send us the replay. So on this happy note, it's time for us to say goodbye. But this is again only for one short week. First of all, big ups for our guest today, Keenan. Thanks for coming out to chat with us, man. And you can follow Keenan at KeenanVDG on Twitter. We're gonna post this thing on the video and in the description, so do follow him. Thanks to my co-hosts, game developer by day and a witch doctor by night, Aaron Woxequera. Follow him on Twitter at Netherglaive. Mr. We Got This Guys, always in control, Nathan HP Sequeira. See what he has to say at HPOC on Twitter. Myself, I'm Max Skeggy and you can follow me at I'm Skeggy. So for the news about our upcoming episodes and all things Heroes of the Storm, make sure to follow us at Howling Fury TV and watch our stream at Twitch TV/Howling Fury TV. Very easy to remember. We record episodes live every Tuesday at 10 PM Eastern Standard Time. So come hang with us, we have some cool prizes to give away. There will be a giveaway in the video on YouTube this week, because we forgot to do it on live and we don't really have the time. We have beta keys, we have exciting things, and we have some special stuff saved for our 10th or 5th episode. We'll figure it out, but like, do follow us, it's coming. So favorite us, like us, tell your friends, contribute. There is a button to donate. Every buck you spend will go directly into improving the show. We need equipment, we need stuff on the walls behind us, that's all gonna be improved, and big ups if you did already. This was a blast doing this show, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Nuclear launch detected.